Have you ever paid top dollar for a steak that tasted like it was grilled on a rusty backyard barbecue and wondered, why did I just spend my hard-earned money on this? Today, we're cutting through the hype, the fancy logos, and the marketing gimmicks to rank America's biggest steakhouse chains from absolute worst to surprisingly worth every penny. We're talking flavor, texture, consistency, and whether you'd actually return for a second bite. Grab your knife and loosen your belt, because we are about to slice into the truth behind America's most famous steakhouses. Number 1. Sizzler. Sizzler takes the bottom spot on this list, and unfortunately, it's not hard to see why. Once upon a time, this chain was a true American icon. Founded in 1958, Sizzler exploded in popularity by offering something people had never really seen before. Affordable steak and lobster combos, paired with an all-you-can-eat salad bar that felt downright luxurious for under $10. During the 1980s, it wasn't just a restaurant. It was a weekend ritual, a family destination, and a place where surf and turf felt within reach for everyone. But somewhere along the way, the magic faded. As crowds flooded in for the bottomless buffet, Sizzler made a critical mistake. They invested more in keeping the salad bar overflowing than in keeping their steak quality high. Instead of doubling down on the one thing that made them a steakhouse, great steak, they cut corners. They switched to lower-grade USDA select beef, thinned out the marbling, and relied on budget cuts that simply couldn't deliver the juicy, flavorful experience customers were paying for. Freshness wasn't the issue. They even had on-site butchers. But when the raw product is weak and the cooking is careless, nothing saves the final result. And that's where Sizzler stumbled hardest. What used to be a proud steak and lobster destination slowly became a buffet pit stop with bland, chewy, forgettable steaks that tasted more like obligation than indulgence. The surf and turf combo that people once bragged about now felt like a faded snapshot of a better era. Instead of evolving, the chain clung to nostalgia, and nostalgia alone can't carry a steakhouse forever. Financial trouble followed. Bankruptcies hit twice, locations shut down, and the brand shrank from more than 270 restaurants at its peak to just around 100 today. The unlimited shrimp cocktail might still trigger warm childhood memories for many people, but your taste buds will quickly remind you why Sizzler almost disappeared entirely. Sizzler ranks dead last because it simply forgot the golden rule of the steakhouse world. The steak must always be the star of the show. When your buffet becomes the main attraction and your beef becomes an afterthought, you're no longer competing. You're surviving. And in the world of American steakhouses, survival without flavor just isn't enough. Number 2. Logan's Roadhouse. Logan's Roadhouse slides into the number 10 spot as the steakhouse equivalent of that dependable friend who always shows up, but never quite surprises you. Founded in Kentucky in 1991, Logan's built its identity around casual comfort, peanut buckets on the table, country music in the background, and a come-as-you-are atmosphere that immediately puts you at ease. It's the kind of place where nobody cares if you're wearing work boots, a baseball cap, or just rolled in after a long shift. And honestly, that part of Logan's still works beautifully. The menu reads like a classic American Roadhouse greatest hits album. Mesquite grilled steaks, country fried favorites, loaded potatoes, and rolls so warm and fluffy you almost forget you're waiting for an actual meal. Those famous yeast rolls deserve their reputation. They are the kind of addictive little starters that disappear before you know what happened. And give credit where it's due. Logan's kitchen generally handles steak temperatures correctly, and the servers actually know how to explain doneness without sounding unsure. The chain clearly trains its staff well, but here's where Logan's falls flat. Everything is fine, just fine. The steaks aren't bad, but they're not memorable either. The flavor rarely pops, the seasoning is safe, and the cuts lack the rich marbling serious steak lovers look for. You won't get a disaster on a plate, but you also want to get a steak that makes you close your eyes and savor the moment. In an industry where standout flavor separates the good from the great, fine simply isn't competitive. Logan's has also had a rough run behind the scenes. 2 bankruptcies and multiple ownership changes have left the chain in constant survival mode. And when a restaurant brand plays defense for years, innovation, menu upgrades, and culinary risks tend to disappear. The result is a steakhouse experience that feels stuck, comfortable, familiar, but lacking ambition. Logan's Roadhouse earns its low ranking not because it's bad, but because it refuses to rise above average. When you leave a steakhouse saying, "Yeah, that was okay," instead of, "I can't wait to come back," that tells you everything. And in a field filled with chains fighting to impress, being just okay lands you near the bottom. Number 3. Outback Steakhouse. Outback Steakhouse lands at number 9, and honestly, its position says everything about what happens when a restaurant becomes more famous for its branding than its beef. Founded in Florida in 1988 with that over-the-top Australian theme, Outback built an empire on fun vibes, hearty portions, and of course, the legendary bloomin' onion, a deep-fried monument to excess that practically prints money. And let's be clear, the theatrics work. Families love it, the bread is always warm, and the decor makes every table feel like a small Aussie adventure. But when it comes to steak, the one thing that should define a steakhouse, Outback consistently drops the ball. The chain primarily uses USDA choice beef rather than prime, which instantly puts it at a disadvantage. Choice isn't bad, but it has less marbling, less richness, and less of that melt-in-your-mouth tenderness serious steak lovers crave. And because Outback relies so heavily on seasoning blends and marketing flair, their steaks often arrive tasting more generic than premium. A common complaint across reviews is inconsistency. One night, your bone-in ribeye might look picture-perfect, but taste thin, dry, or strangely bland. Another night, your order arrives overcooked, even when you asked for medium rare. And while rumors persist that well-done steaks receive the lowest quality cuts to speed up cooking times, Outback has denied this repeatedly. Still, the perception alone shows how shaky customer trust can be. The bigger issue? Outback treats steak like the supporting actor in a production starring appetizers and branding. The bloomin' onion has more cultural impact than any cut of beef on their menu. The cocktails get more marketing energy than the ribeyes. The Aussie theme gets more attention than the grilling technique, when your most iconic item is a giant fried onion and not a flawlessly cooked steak. That tells you the chain's priorities loud and clear. Outback isn't a bad place for a fun family night, and the prices remain reasonable. But if you're searching for a truly memorable steak, one that delivers deep, beefy flavor and perfect texture, you're unlikely to find it here. Outback lands in the bottom tier because it lost sight of the basics. At a steakhouse, the steak must always steal the spotlight. Number 4. Saltgrass Steakhouse. Saltgrass Steakhouse rides into the number 8 spot, looking every bit like the Texas-themed powerhouse it claims to be. With its cowboy decor, wood-fired grills, and servers dressed like they're ready to wrangle cattle between tables, Saltgrass leans hard into the Western aesthetic. And honestly, it's charming. The atmosphere feels warm, rustic, and inviting, without coming across as a manufactured corporate gimmick. It is the kind of place where you expect a good steak simply because the vibe tells you incapable country-bred hands. And to be fair, Saltgrass does a lot of things right. Their steaks are hand-cut, grilled over mesquite wood, and consistently hit the correct temperature. That mesquite grilling gives each cut a smoky edge that many diners genuinely love. Multiple reviews praise Saltgrass for nailing a proper medium rare, which is already a big win compared to some chains that seem to treat steak temps like a guessing game. Add in friendly service, knowledgeable staff, and a comfortable dining room, and the foundation is absolutely solid. But here is the catch. Saltgrass rarely delivers a steak that you all remember the next day. The flavor, while good, does not quite reach the level you would expect from a chain that prides itself on Texas beef culture. The cuts themselves often lack the deep marbling and richness needed for that close your eyes and savor kind of bite. The seasoning is respectable, the char is appealing, the execution is steady, yet the final result lands somewhere in the space between satisfying and forgettable. You walk away feeling full and content, but not amazed. This is what keeps Saltgrass from breaking into the upper ranks. It's not that they're doing anything wrong, it's that they're not doing quite enough to stand out. In a state where steak borders on religion, being solid isn't the gold medal, it's the participation trophy. Saltgrass earns the number 8 ranking because while it offers a friendly environment, dependable cooking, and a pleasant dining experience, it never quite delivers the punch of flavor intensity needed to compete with the big boys. You'll enjoy your meal, but you won't crave it weeks. Number 5. Fleming's Prime Steakhouse. Fleming S Prime Steakhouse takes the number 7 spot, a ranking that surprises many people who only know the chain by its upscale atmosphere, polished service, and premium price tags. On paper, Fleming's looks like a heavyweight contender. They serve USDA prime beef, age it for over 21 days, curate extensive wine lists, and present each dish with fine dining flair. Walk into any Fleming AES location, and you immediately feel like you are in a place built for business deals, anniversaries, and celebrations. Everything about the branding screams top-tier steakhouse. But here's the problem. While Fleming's has all the right ingredients, it struggles with the one thing that matters most: consistent execution. When Fleming's gets it right, the experience is undeniably impressive. The tomahawk ribeye arrives as a showstopper, massive and beautifully seared. The filet mignon delivers buttery tenderness. And the sides, especially the lobster mac and cheese, taste every bit as indulgent as the price suggests. Paired with a sommelier-selected wine, a great night at Fleming's can rival some of the best steakhouses in the country. Unfortunately, that great night isn't guaranteed. Across reviews and customer experiences, a persistent theme appears: inconsistency. Some diners rave about perfect sears and rich beefy flavor, while others describe steaks that arrived overcooked, under-seasoned, or simply lacking the depth they expect from prime-grade meat. And when you're paying premium prices, pretty good doesn't cut it, literally or figuratively. This inconsistency is Fleming's Achilles heel. It has the sourcing, the aging, the ambiance, and the training to compete with the best. But a steakhouse lives or dies by what happens between the butcher block and the plate. And too often, Fleming's final product doesn't justify the premium. There's also a sense that the chain leans heavily into the upscale experience: dim lighting, sleek interiors, formal service, sometimes overshadowing the steak itself. If you leave a high-end steakhouse thinking more about the wine menu than the beef, something is out of balance. Fleming's ranks at number 7 because it should be better. It has everything it needs to climb higher, but its inconsistency keeps it from reaching the elite tier. When they nail it, you feel like you struck gold. But when they miss, you walk out thinking you paid Morton S prices for an Outback-level meal, and that S a problem. Number 6. Ruth's Chris. Ruth's Chris claims the number 6 spot, and it earns that ranking by doing something many steakhouse chains struggle with: consistent execution. Founded in New Orleans, and famous for its dramatic 500-degree sizzling plates, Ruth's Chris has built an instantly recognizable identity. The moment your steak arrives, you hear that unmistakable sizzle, your personal soundtrack announcing that dinner has officially begun. While the presentation might seem theatrical, there's real purpose behind it. That scorching hot plate keeps the steak warm, juicy, and flavorful from the first bite to the last. Something surprisingly few steakhouses consistently achieve. But the sizzle isn't the only thing Ruth's Chris gets right. The chain uses USDA prime beef, properly sourced and aged, which already gives them a noticeable advantage in tenderness and richness. When cooked correctly, their steaks deliver deep, buttery flavor with a texture that melts easily on the palate. Customers and reviewers alike frequently praise the chain for hitting temperatures spot on. Medium rare that's actually medium rare. Not medium well, not undercooked, but exactly what you ordered. Another quiet strength is the balance of the menu. While the steak is the star, the sides enhance rather than overshadow it. The creamed spinach is silky and seasoned, just right. The garlic mashed potatoes are consistently fluffy and flavorful, and even the salads feel thoughtfully prepared. It's classic steakhouse fare done with finesse, not flair. The atmosphere at Ruth's Chris also strikes a noteworthy balance. It's upscale without feeling pretentious, polished without being stuffy. You could celebrate an anniversary here just as easily as a birthday or an important business dinner. The service reflects that versatility: professional, attentive, and knowledgeable without crossing into overbearing territory. So why doesn't Ruth's Chris rank higher? Because while it does nearly everything well, it rarely does anything exceptional. It's like a straight-A student who never quite reaches that standout wow factor. The flavor is great, but not groundbreaking. The experience is reliable, but not unforgettable. Ruth Chris delivers the steakhouse fundamentals at a high level, but it doesn't innovate or push boundaries enough to crack the top 5. Still, in a world full of inconsistent chains, Ruth Chris stands out for one major reason. You know exactly what you're getting, and it's almost always good. And sometimes, consistency is worth more than flash. Number 7. Morton's enters the top 5 as the classic, no-nonsense powerhouse that has long defined what a premium American steakhouse should be. Founded in Chicago in 1978, Morton's built its reputation not on gimmicks or oversized appetizers, but on one thing: exceptional beef treated with absolute respect. This is the chain that proudly champions its motto: "We serve the best steak, anywhere." And while that's a bold claim, Morton's comes closer than most to backing it up. The secret weapon? Dry aging. Morton's ages its USDA prime beef for more than 50 days. A process that concentrates flavor, tenderizes muscle fibers, and creates that unmistakable nutty, almost buttery complexity you simply cannot find in non-aged steaks. Their bone-in ribeye develops a richness that feels almost decadent, while the filet mignon strikes a perfect balance between melt-in-your-mouth tenderness and deep, beefy flavor. When Morton's hits its stride, and it usually does, the steak arrives with a flawless crust, a warm pink center, and an aroma that tells you you're about to eat something special. But the excellence doesn't stop with the beef. Morton's sides feel like supporting characters who understand their roles perfectly. The famous Yorkshire pudding-style popovers are airy, golden, and irresistibly warm. The lobster tail, creamed spinach, and au gratin potatoes taste just as elevated as the steak, each dish reinforcing the sense that Morton's operates with a different level of culinary discipline. Still, Morton's isn't for everyone. The atmosphere, while refined, can feel stiff, more corporate boardroom than celebratory dining room. Dim lighting, dark wood, and quiet formality create an environment tailor-made for business dinners, anniversaries, and deal-closing nights, not casual family outings. This seriousness, combined with Morton's undeniably premium prices, means many customers walk in expecting perfection and walk out shocked at the bill, even when the food delivers. Morton's ranks number 5, not because it fails in quality, far from it, but because the overall experience sometimes feels more obligatory than joyful. The steaks are outstanding, but the energy can be intimidating, the check can be eye-watering, and the formality doesn't appeal to every diner. In the world of steakhouse chains, though, Morton's remains a master of fundamentals. When you want dry-aged excellence, consistent cooking, and flavor so deep it borders on addictive, Morton's delivers with authority. It may not be the most fun, but it's undeniably the real deal. Number 8. The Palm. The Palm earns the number 4 spot by proving something rare in the steakhouse world. You can deliver serious, high-quality beef without sacrificing warmth, personality, or a sense of fun. Founded by Italian immigrants in 1926, the Palm wasn't originally meant to be a steakhouse at all. In fact, the name itself was a happy accident. When the founders asked for a license under the name La Palma, a clerk misheard them and wrote down The Palm. That simple mistake became the foundation of a nearly century-long legacy. What immediately sets the Palm apart is its unmistakable atmosphere. Walk inside, and every wall is covered with hand-drawn celebrity caricatures. Sinatra, athletes, comedians, movie stars, even mob legends. It's like dining inside an illustrated history book of American pop culture. But instead of feeling tacky or overdone, the art creates a playful, welcoming environment that manages to feel upscale and relaxed at the same time. It is the kind of place where fine dining and fun don't just coexist, they amplify each other. And then there's the steak. The Palm serves USDA prime beef, dry-aged with meticulous care and prepared in a classic Italian-American style that highlights natural flavors rather than hiding them behind heavy seasonings. Their bone-in ribeye delivers deep, complex notes developed through proper aging, while the filet is tender without sacrificing richness. You taste tradition in every bite, an unbroken chain of technique passed down through generations. But the Palm isn't just about steak. Their menu includes Italian-American staples like veal chops, linguine with lobster, and classic crab cocktails. Dishes that show the kitchen has skills well beyond the grill. This diversity elevates the entire dining experience, making it feel more complete and more personal than steakhouses that focus solely on beef. Where the palm truly shines is in its personality without pretension. The service is professional, yet genuinely warm, striking the perfect balance between refined and friendly. You feel taken care of, not lectured. You feel like a guest, not a customer being processed. The Palm ranks number 4 because it blends top-tier steak quality, heritage, and charm better than almost any other chain. It's a place you go not just to eat, but to celebrate, to enjoy an experience that feels alive, memorable, and uniquely its own. Number 9. Capital Grille. The Capital Grille secures the number 3 spot by doing something that only a handful of steakhouse chains in America have truly mastered, delivering a dining experience that feels effortless, elegant, and consistently exceptional. Founded in 1990 in Boston, Capital Grille built its reputation not on flash or gimmicks, but on the quiet confidence that comes from knowing every detail, from the steak to the service, will exceed expectations. Let's start with the beef. Capital Grille specializes in dry-aged USDA prime steaks, aged in-house using a carefully controlled process that intensifies flavor and enhances tenderness. Their filet mignon arrives thick, center-cut, and perfectly pink inside, with a buttery texture that practically melts at the touch of your knife. Their Delmonico ribeye, coated in a signature porcini rub, is one of the most celebrated steaks in the chain world, rich, earthy, and packed with umami without ever overpowering the beef's natural quality. These aren't just steaks, they're statements. But what truly elevates Capital Grille into the top 3 is its relentless consistency. Whether you're dining in Boston, Houston, Miami, or Vegas, the experience feels nearly identical in the best way possible. Reviews highlight steaks cooked to exact temperatures, generous portions, and an unwavering commitment to precision that puts many competitors to shame. And then there's the service. Arguably the best of any steakhouse chain in the country, Capital Grille servers operate with a level of polish normally reserved for elite fine dining establishments. They anticipate needs before you voice them, make informed recommendations without being pushy, and maintain a level of professionalism that's warm rather than stiff. It's service that makes guests feel important without making the moment feel formal or tense. The sides and appetizers further strengthen the chain's reputation. The lobster mac and cheese is legendary, creamy, rich, and loaded with actual lobster, not just a few decorative chunks. The lobster bisque is velvety and frequently described as dreamy, while the creamed spinach and au gratin potatoes round out meals with indulgent comfort. Capital Grille ranks 3rd because it represents the gold standard for special occasion dining. The atmosphere is refined but inviting, the food is consistently exceptional, and the service is among the best in the industry. When you want a steakhouse that delivers excellence without surprises, good or bad, Capital Grille is the name that rises above nearly all others. Number 10. Longhorn Steakhouse. Longhorn Steakhouse lassos the number 2 spot, and its high ranking might surprise anyone who assumes premium steak experiences only come from white tablecloth restaurants with sky-high prices. But Longhorn has quietly mastered something most chains never quite figure out: delivering legitimately great steaks at prices normal people can afford. Founded in Atlanta in 1981 inside an old railroad station, the chain embraced a Western identity early on. But unlike some of its competitors, Longhorn backs up the cowboy aesthetic with real culinary skill. The star of the show is the outlaw ribeye, a massive 20-ounce bone-in cut dripping with marbling, grilled over open flames, and finished with herb butter that melts into every crevice. Reviewers and steak lovers are nearly unanimous. This steak tastes like something that should cost twice the price, and it's not a fluke. Longhorn AS entire lineup, from the Flow S filet to the Renegade sirloin, consistently delivers that perfect balance of charred exterior and juicy, flavorful interior that keeps customers coming back. One of Longhorn's biggest advantages is something most diners don't even know exists. The chain operates a hidden butcher academy. Managers are trained on how to properly cut, trim, age, and handle beef, skills many steakhouses overlook. That technical expertise shows in every plate. The steaks arrive with proper sear, reliable doneness, and a depth of flavor uncommon in casual dining chains. This behind-the-scenes investment sets Longhorn apart in an industry where cost-cutting often kills quality. Another strength is the servers themselves. Longhorn employees understand steak. They can confidently explain why ribeyes taste better at medium, why marbling matters, and why certain cuts pair better with specific seasonings or sides. This level of knowledge isn't just rare, it's transformative. Diners walk in for a meal and walk out feeling like they learned something new about steak. The atmosphere is also a win, Western-themed but not cartoonish or overdone. Warm wood tones, rustic decor, and a laid-back vibe create an environment that feels welcoming rather than theatrical. And then there are the bottomless honey wheat bread loaves, which disappear from the table almost as quickly as the servers can bring them. Longhorn ranks second because it cracked the code on accessible excellence. It offers premium-level flavor without premium-level prices, consistent execution across hundreds of locations, and a dining experience that's both satisfying and relaxed. It's proof that you don't need a tuxedo budget to enjoy a top-tier steak. Number 11, Texas Roadhouse. Texas Roadhouse claims the crown as the #1 steakhouse chain in America, and it earns that title not by pretending to be fancy, but by absolutely dominating the fundamentals. Founded in 1993 on a simple napkin sketch that included peanuts, line dancing, cold beer, and great steak, Texas Roadhouse has grown into a nationwide favorite by focusing obsessively on what really matters: flavor, consistency, hospitality, and unbeatable value. Let's start with the steak, the heart of the whole operation. Every single Texas Roadhouse location employs trained in-house butchers who hand-cut their steaks daily, not weekly, not shipped pre-cut from a warehouse. Daily. That attention to freshness gives their USDA choice beef a noticeable edge in tenderness and texture. Combine that with open grill cooking, a deep, flavorful char, and confident seasoning, and you get steaks that routinely outperform cuts sold at restaurants twice the price. The 6-ounce sirloin is their top seller for a reason. It's perfectly portioned, full of robust beef flavor, and consistently juicy. But whether you're ordering a ribeye, filet, or New York strip, the quality never seems to drop. Customers often report that steaks at Texas Roadhouse taste shockingly close to high-end steakhouses, but at a fraction of the cost. And then there's the atmosphere, chaotic, loud, and loved by millions. From country music to line dancing servers, Texas Roadhouse embraces the kind of energy that turns dinner into an experience. It's lively without feeling overwhelming, friendly without feeling forced. Families love it, date nights love it, and even steak purists have to admit, the place has charm. Of course, we can't talk about Texas Roadhouse without mentioning the legendary rolls. Soft, warm, and served with honey cinnamon butter, these rolls disappear faster than waiters can drop them off. They're practically a cultural phenomenon of their own. But the real key to Texas Roadhouse's success is its value proposition. A family of 4 can enjoy outstanding steaks, hearty sides, and drinks for less than what 2 people would pay at many upscale chains. It's not cheap food, it's fairly priced food executed with passion and precision. Texas Roadhouse ranks #1 because it perfects the complete steakhouse experience. Great steaks, friendly service, a lively environment, and prices that actually make sense. It's the rare restaurant where quality meets accessibility, where every visit feels like a celebration, and where the steak is always the star. So there you have it, America's biggest steakhouse chains, ranked from nostalgic disappointment to unbeatable, crowd-pleasing excellence. The places that rose to the top did it by mastering the fundamentals: high-quality cuts, proper seasoning, careful temperature control, and consistency you can count on. The ones at the bottom? They got distracted by gimmicks, cut corners where it mattered most, or simply forgot that in a steakhouse, the steak must always take center stage. Now it's your turn. Did your favorite chain get robbed, or did we nail it? Drop your ranking in the comments below.